Hello, welcome back to Deth-N-Vengeance. This is part 2 of our first episode. I'm Jonny Deth. With me as always.
And I'm Majin Drew.
All right. So, in this episode, we're going to start out with the Resident Evil 2 remake. Now, those of you who know me know that Resident Evil is a very important thing to me. It's something that I've liked since it first came out. Known as Resident Evil here in America. In Japan, it's Biohazard. This is the anniversary package I got from Japan.
Biohazard. Or how do they talk in the movie? Biohazard. I think it's like legitimately pronounced Hazard.
And then all the chicks are.
How they do that laugh?
Are you laughing at me? No. But no, Resident Evil. If you go out see my car, it's decked out with the Umbrella Company logos on the side, and I got a skull on the hood. You know, the Biohazard symbol on my hood. So yeah, I take it just way beyond just being a casual fan, you could say. I played every game they have. I even have some rare games. I don't have them with me. Maybe I do. I don't know.
Yeah, File 1 and File 2.
I have those. I have the PAL Biohazard Survivor 2s. They're only released in like Japan and in Europe. I got those on the PS2. I don't know if you guys ever played it, but it's called Gun Survivor Part 2. They released it on arcade machines, and then they only released it on the PAL, which is the European version of the gaming system they use, and then in Japan. So I have a modded PS2 that can play them. I can play foreign games, and I also have like a little. I had to modify my Xbox for that, but it was all worth it. Yeah, this is the anniversary package. It's got all the games from the original one to Part 6. Fortunately, I don't have a PS3. Of all the video game systems I have, I literally have almost one of everything.
For only 5 cents a day, you can help this man find a PS3.
Or send me a donation. Hell, fuck. If you have one, whatever, send it to me or leave a thing in the comments or something like that. But
and please don't try to kidnap him and put him down a well and says, rub the lotion on the skin or else it gets sours again.
Because then I'll be like, put the fucking PlayStation 3 in the basket.
With your dogs is precious.
Precious.
Put the fucking lotion in the basket. You don't know what pain feels like.
And then people come by, have you seen Jonny Deth? Wait, was he a real big fat dude? Then I'm all like, it puts the John Deth in the hole. But no.
All right.
I remember as a kid coming home from school back in
1965.
Yes. Back when I had sex with Marty McFly's mom.
Oh shit! No, not Marty McFly.
She was a drunken whore. It's a big long story.
Is that why we saw him in the future, bald-headed?
Yeah. I was like, Johnny, be good. Johnny, be real good.
That whole scene was fucked up because you have his mom trying to get it on with his son, and then you have Biff trying to rape his mom, right? Yeah. Biff was trying to rape her. And then you have
Dude, we're from Texas. That shit happens all the time. Go down the road. I bet you they'll knock on the door. So like, Mama, shut the lights off. They won't know we're here.
Hey, don't talk about my family like that, bro.
My bad, Joe.
Just tell you. Anyways, about Resident Evil.
Oh, anyway, where we at? We started talking about
Resident Evil.
Fucking and shit. Yeah, I remember coming home every day and just playing the original one, just for hours and hours. I beat it. I don't know how many times. I used to have the memory card, but honestly, I think I had a record at some point for the Part 3 because I played it like every day for 2 years straight when I first got it for like Christmas.
So basically, you're a lonely bastard in a room.
Yes. I had a game saved. I had beaten it in 48 minutes. I know that seems like kind of crazy, but I skipped a lot of stuff and I skipped a lot of things and it was either 48 or 49 minutes, but I don't know, that's under an hour. So, I mean, that's got to be some kind of record. But I used to have it and I used to show people, but I don't know. God knows where that memory card is. But yeah,
it's someone's ass.
So basically, it's it's a game series that's meant a lot to me. The movies. It's a love-hate relationship. The
first 3 were pretty okay, and then it goes
down. It's one of those things like I have to. It's almost like if you have like how many movies did they make? Like 7, 6, 6, 8,
something like that.
Something.
It's like having 8 kids, and you're like, okay, the first 3 are the first one they had. Then after that, you're just kind of like, oh, these fucking little bastards. Oh.
It's gonna be the marriage trial. Yeah. John and Kate plus 8.
Yeah, so like I want to choke the last 4 of these bastards,
See, and the first 2 were really good because like they referenced a lot of the stuff from the games.
Yeah,
Nemesis.
So see, my problem with the director they got, W.S. Anderson, is he wasn't a fan of the games. He didn't really know about them until he signed on to the project, and then he kind of like did a little bit of research. But I kind of wish they would have had a director that was like, oh my god, I've played all the games. Like I know, like like when I bought this Japanese box set, people are like, how are you going to know what they're saying? They're in Japanese. I'm like, I've played these games so many times. I know them like the back of my hand. I don't even need to. I already know what's being said. I already know what's, where things are. Even in the alternate versions, I know where, so it's like, I wish they would have got somebody like that would have kind of kept it a little bit more 100% to the video game, and not an exact copy, but, maybe just a little bit more like, have instead of taking place underground, maybe I would have loved to see them, in a mansion with like, a lot of trap doors and like, oh, we got to get into this room, and like having to like figure stuff out and just, just playing with that whole element of being trapped in a house, I guess that kind of works being trapped underground, but, I kind of like wish they would have stayed more to the source material with that, just because, like I said, it's near and dear to my heart, the whole series. So even like the shitty games that people blast apart on online, oh, this game sucks, oh, this game's horrible, all the whatever, it's it's like I said, it's like disowning a child. I couldn't do that. So like
that shitty dialogue from Resident Evil 0.
Yeah. Or like I used to like when it first came out, I was like, oh, and for the PS1, I would look at it and I thought, oh man, look at these fucking graphics, man, and they're all like, hi, let's go to that door, and it's all, and then I look at it now, I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? Yeah.
So when did
try, and it's all like jittery and like blocked.
So when did Resident Evil come to America? It was like
98.
98.
Well,
so wouldn't you say around that time Resident Evil kind of brought back zombies?
Well, I'm sorry. The first one came out, I want to say 96.
In Japan, right?
No, in 94, 95 it came out in Japan. In 96 or 97 it came to America, the original. And then it didn't do very well. And then they released the director's cut, and that sold a little bit more because it had a little bit different gameplay. Then 98 is when Resident Evil 2 came out, and that's the one that
took off.
Yeah, that everybody kind of references when they say Resident Evil. They feel, oh, Resident Evil 2, that's my shit. They always jump. It's almost like Street Fighter. You know what I mean? Every time you mention Street Fighter, nobody ever mentions the first one. They always mention, Part 2, yeah, with Blanca and Zangief and all that stuff. There's always they always automatically think of Part 2. So when you say Resident Evil, a lot of people, oh my god, the one with Leon and Jill, and Claire and all this kind of stuff. It's like that's the one a lot of people back in the day go to is, oh, I remember that.
But wouldn't you say like they brought zombies back to life around in the mid 90s? Because if I look back in the horror movies, I rarely saw a zombie movie from the 90s on until Resident Evil.
Yeah, I mean, I always like to brag that I'm a zombie fan from back in the day. But yeah, zombies weren't cool when I was a kid or around that time. That did kind of help boost them up. I think it was that, and then they started doing like 28 Days Later kind of helped.
Shaun of the Dead.
And yeah, stuff like that, like in the early 2000s. And the reason why was because like the new generation, like my generation, we were cool with the slow zombies that walk like, real slow. And, it's only when there's a group of them that they're dangerous. And with the newer generation, they wanted a more fast paced, hard hitting kind of zombie.
Something that runs a little faster.
Which actually goes back to 1985, Return of the Living Dead. I don't know if y'all have seen that movie, but
I remember watching it.
That one had. I remember when I was a kid watching that, and it had running zombies. I was like, "Holy fuck!" You know, like.
Is that the one they're in the house?
No, that's
the first one.
Remember that shirt I was gonna have you trying that said "You need a medical supply"? That's from that movie.
Really?
That's why it's one of my favorite shirts because it's from the.
How does it start off? I'm pretty sure it's.
I know
these guys,
black and white one's the first one.
No, this one it was supposed to be like a spoof of Night of the Living Dead, and these guys work in the medical supply warehouse, and it's like an old guy that's been there for like years, and a young guy, and he's like, "Hey man, there's a canister in the basement."
Is that the one with the zombies, like the ooze zombies?
Yeah, there's that famous scene in the those punks are in the cemetery, and that one dumbass chick gets naked, it's all dancing naked in the cemetery and stuff, and
oh, you gotta love Satanism.
Yeah. Well, she was like, you know, emo back before emo was emo, where she was all like, you know, like the first line of the movie, she's all like, "You ever just sit around and think about dying?" And it's just like,
wow,
okay, cool. But anyway, yeah, that had running zombies. So for the new generation in the early 2000s, the millennials, they needed something to kind of get them scared. You know what I mean? Because you know they wanted everything fast paced, and so you had 20 days later they had these. I don't know if technically you call them zombies because I don't think they were actually dead. They're more affected.
Yeah,
so they were
because like a rage virus.
Yeah, so they weren't technically zombies because they weren't dead. To me, zombies are.
It's still a virus though.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess they're technically they are, but they aren't.
It's just like
I'll put them under the category that they are just because of the whole dynamic. If they bite you, if they scratch you, you turn into one. So as far as that goes, I think, you know. I think they count as zombies. And then from there, it just started getting, you know, you mentioned Shaun of the Dead, also one of my all-time top 10 favorite movies. And honestly, I thought I was going to hate it because I'm a big George Romero. As you can see, I've got all the European Night of the Living Dead posters and Dawn of the Dead. So I'm a big fan of George Romero. So when I heard they were making a spoof, I was like, you know, fuck that shit. Don't mess with the master, you know. But Shaun of the Dead was really good. I liked it a lot. I watch it all the time.
Zombieland.
So
Zombieland was funny though.
Yeah, I wish they would show more zombies. Honestly, I mean, there's like more throughout the whole movie. There's like certain parts where you see them, but I wish there was like more
center more about the zombies.
Yeah, and like I don't know. I just wish there was more zombie fighting scenes. But
okay, but what about the Resident Evil movies? Like I know we were saying 1 to 3 were kind of good. But from there, I did see like the last ones, and I kind of felt like it was just like, why try?
I thought the first one was really good. They had the whole mansion thing where they're trying to go inside the hive.
Yeah, oh,
yeah. That's like reminiscent of like a Resident Evil, the first one.
Yeah,
and then
that kind of reminds me of House of the Dead. House of the Dead, which is another zombie movie that came out in the 2000s.
That's blasphemy.
And you had Resident Evil 2 where they're
that U-Bowl movie.
They're trying to run away from Nemesis the whole time.
Oh yeah.
See, now that one, I think if they had because see, playing the game, Nemesis is like this big old like 10-foot, 9-foot, whatever monster that's like running around. And this one, they made him the same height as everybody else. You know what I mean? I kind of wish they would have made him more.
He was bulky though.
He was bulky, but I wish he was a little more taller. And then they show his boots, and his boots are like this big. And I don't know. I just didn't. I mean, I like the whole map. I like the setup. I just wish they would have made him more taller and more.
Well, aren't his boots the same ones they used in Silent Hill? The movie. Well, I remember like Pyramid Head. He had like very big high platforms, and he had to walk around that. Like I thought those were the same boots that they used for Nemesis.
Oh, I don't know, probably, but I think they wanted to make him more taller, to be more menacing, and then. If you play Resident Evil 3, I mean, he's running around like at you full speed. And in this one, every time you see him, he's walking in slow motion. Like every scene, he's like slow motion. I just kind of wish like the whole part of like part 3 that got me was like, oh shit, he's running after me. I got to run from him. You know what I mean? Like that he would actually chase you in the game. And I was like, that was like,
I like how they just like hinted at him, like in the movie, they just like hinted at him like in certain parts.
Yeah.
Just like the game, or like you would never like see him like fully, or. You would see him, but only like for like a short period.
Yeah, because you would come out, and you would fight him, then he'd like run away, or he'd like kind of like go somewhere and like heal, and then he'd come back after you and stuff like that. But I just kind of wish they would have made him more menacing, like like where it's like they're walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden he just like busts out through the fucking door and just start chasing them, and they're like trying to dodge them and trying to get away from them, and then they finally get maybe they push something on top of them, like whatever, like a whole bunch of like tables or something like that, and they're able to get away for the split second, that he's being like detained and stuff. But that's just me. I don't know. That's coming from the playing Resident Evil 3 for 2 damn years, like straight.
I also really like that one part where like what's her name? The
Alice
Jovovich, the one that
Alice.
Yeah, Alice. She has that whole little helicopter scene. Remember? That comes off of Code Veronica.
Yeah.
Where she like does the whole gun thing and
she's running and they're just
yeah.
Oh, Code Veronica, man, I love that.
Code Veronica was really good.
I am a novice to Resident Evil. I'm sorry.
That's why he's kind of there, just
like that's why I'm actually quiet.
Yeah, just like the last episode where like we're talking about Star Wars, and
because I'm a bitch,
I hate Star Wars.
I tell you what, he's just there flapping his gums. No.
Well, I mean, I did play Resident Evil Nintendo 64. I think that's where it was.
Part 2 was on there. That was actually cool because on that one, you can change the color of the blood from green to red. I actually have that on the Nintendo 64. So, but I guess the reason why we brought up Resident Evil was the remake of Part 2 is coming out. I'm gonna leave a link in the video so you can check that out. If you haven't seen the trailer for it, it's coming out, I believe, January 9th or something.
I wouldn't know.
Oh yeah.
No. I mean, I wouldn't know because like I played Resident Evil as a kid on Nintendo 64, and honestly, I did it at like one of our landlord's family reunion, and I never knew the game, so I played and I got fucking scared like shitless. I was a kid who was about to like shit his pants.
I mean, I was scared playing the game too, but I still I liked it, like the whole aspect of like, trying to speedrun it.
Oh,
that's what I liked about it.
But no, like I mean, I do like the Resident Evil movies, yes, but I still hear a lot of shit about Mila Jovovich just kind of ruined the whole movies from the beginning, which I think she's kind of like an underrated actress.
You know what? I think like in every single one of those movies, you can see one of her nipples,
and her nipples can.
I know in the first one, I actually snuck in to see the first one when it first came out.
Her nipples can cut glass.
It's true.
Like literally, if we were, should I lock my keys in the house? She'd go up to the window and be all like,
like every movie she's in, she's
reaching.
She has to like be naked or something.
Yeah, I know in the special features. Yeah, they talk about how she's willing to take one for the team and show a little nipple on camera like she's done.
Well, if you ever saw the first one in theaters, that theater cut, I remember seeing that you actually saw her fucking pooter.
Yeah.
And then, like, when you go back to watch it now, like, they kind of cut it out.
Oh, not on the version I have.
Oh, yeah. John gets the very first version.
It's the Pooter Scratch and Sniff special edition.
The Pooter Scratch and Sniff. Oh, Lord. Pussy eaters.
Everybody walks up to the screen, they're all... No.
So John actually has 2 cars. One is the Umbrella Corporation one. The other one is the Pussy Wagon from Kill Bill.
Which is actually a replica of the Flintstones car. You push it with your feet, and but no, I'm excited about the remake. I planning on getting it when it comes out. I put the pre-order and get the whatever. I'm paying the extra for the special edition that's coming out. I know it's kind of stupid to buy the special edition because if I wait a couple months after it comes out, they'll probably throw it in for free to download on the Xbox store or some shit. But fuck it. It's, a remake and it looks really awesome. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube or just type Resident Evil 2 remake. There's several trailers for it. There's a gameplay where they show like demos where people are actually playing it. And it looks pretty damn cool. I'm really excited for that. It's been a while since I've gotten excited. I mean, Resident Evil 7, I didn't play it when it first came out. A couple months ago, I was in the hospital and I got sick. And so I spent a couple weeks at home when I got out of the hospital. And one of the games I had on my Xbox One was Resident Evil 7. So I played that for like a couple of days, and just kind of, try to unlock as much as I could. And that one was pretty good. It legitimately, didn't scare the shit out of me, but I mean, it had a definite creepy factor to it.
What did you think about like how they moved away from like the traditional like Resident Evil kind of style?
That's why I hesitated playing it right away, just because I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is weird.
It kind of seemed like Silent Hill.
And then the first time I played it, actually, one of my cousins brought over that PS View, that 3D thing.
Oh, the VR one?
And so we put it on, and I was playing it, and it was weird to see, like, you know, every time you move, like, and I legitimately, after I took it off, like, I was standing up playing it, I had to sit down because my whole equilibrium was, like, fucked up, so I had to sit down, and after I took it off, I felt a little nauseous, and I was like, oh, man. And then if you look at the disclaimer in the beginning of the game, it says the way the thing is set up, it said it could cause nausea or like dizziness. I was like, motherfucker, now he tells me. I'm all walking around like I drank a case of beer, and it's just because I played Resident Evil. But it definitely was creepy. It was different than the other games, just, you know, and stuff. And so this one, it's I'm really excited about, and my panties are
in a water and wet.
Cletus, I got moist. Cletus, I got moist.
You know what we should do? You should actually, why not do a gameplay of Resident Evil 2 when it comes out?
When it comes out, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a live streaming. One of my brothers does this game. Twitch?
It's Twitch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Twitch, where they do the live streaming of games.
You can do it on YouTube as well.
Yeah, so I don't know. I might do you know, I could bring the guys. We'll have like some fucking pizza and like soda and shit. And we'll just
they'll be playing, and then, you know, once in a while, hey, gotta get a little sausage in there, a little exercise, you know, that shake weighty.
It's called the Dutch rudder.
It's called the
Dutch rudder. It's not gay. This is not my hand.
But no, I think it would be a good idea to do like a gameplay of Resident Evil 2. I mean, I never fully played it all the way through. Well, let's just get it over with. I never fucking finished like the first part of it. Like, 20 minutes in, I'm fucking bye.
I think that'd be something fun we can look into. So,
stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that. Coming up probably sometime in January or February, whenever the game comes out, or we get a chance to all three of us get together and do that. I want to talk about some movies right now. One of the things is Super Inframan. Get a shot at that. This is actually a precursor to the modern day Power Rangers, in that it came out in 1975, which the Power Rangers goes back, you know, a long way. But, you know, it's got an evil queen that has these minions and then you got the main guy, Brema, who turns into Inframan, which is basically like a fucking Power Ranger with antennas. And he can grow big, and he fights these creatures and stuff. And it's basically the same concept of Power Rangers, you know, except, you know, they didn't find her in a fucking trash can on Mars or on the moon or whatever. Yeah, but it's
After 1,000 years, I'm free. Time to conquer Earth.
You know, I used to think I was weird because I thought Rita was hot when I was a kid. I was like, I don't know why they.
Well, because she had Madonna cones. So
yeah, I mean, it was like, I was like, you know, give her a different voice. You know, this chick is hot. You know, and
I mean, it was kids' induction to like pointy boobs, Mila Jovovich boobs.
They look like Doritos.
Those 3D Doritos, remember those?
Oh my god, no. 3D Doritos? That shit's really old. With some Cold Red, a Mountain Dew?
Yeah, or
Hello, Claddies.
What is it? Clear Pepsi.
But yeah, it's a Shaw Brothers movie. If you ever get a chance to check out the Shaw Brothers catalog, they have tons and tons of what we used to call chopsaki films. They're like the precursor to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and stuff like that. So they're real. A lot of them from the 70s, maybe early 80s. I remember when I was a kid, on Saturday mornings they would air a lot of these movies on. I don't remember what channel. It might have been TBS or something. So I'd watch a lot of them on there. And then growing up, I would tell people about them. And it wasn't until recently they started releasing DVD copies of them for some of them. One of my other ones, I don't have it with me right now. It's in my storage box unit. But it's Human Lanterns. That's another good Shaw Brothers movie. If y'all ever get a chance to watch them, or if y'all see these somewhere, you know, check them out.
Hey kids, grab a good Shaw Brothers movie, cuddle up with your loved one, and get ready to get grossed out.
Yeah, and be ready to read subtitles.
I think that's what most people don't like about movies that are foreign, is because they don't like to read subtitles.
What?
I mean, for me, I love reading subtitles. I'll fucking put subtitles on everything.
I do that now, so I can train my mind to watch and read at the same time.
I'm just used to anime. I always have them subtitles. So.
Yeah, I mean, especially
even if I watch something in English now, I'll put subtitles.
Yeah, me too. It's a habit now.
So next movie. Man.
Next movie, Rawhead Rex. Get a good shot at that. If you haven't seen this, this is from the brainchild of Clive Barker. If you don't know who Clive Barker is, he's done the Hellraiser movies.
He's also voiced, and I know him from a black new wave metal band, Cradle of Filth. And I first heard him on. Well, I did see him in Hellraiser, but I first heard his voice doing their song "Her Ghost in the Fog."
So, I don't know if that's
was that him.
That was him. He's all in a cold winter night.
He's been smoking cigars for like 30 years, so
yeah.
Talk to him now. He talks like this, like.
You met Clive Barker once, didn't you?
Huh? No, I wish I have. I had. He basically I've listened to a lot of interviews and like stuff that he's talked about, and like the way he does his writing is the way I do mine. Like he has this really like weird way of like. He also did like the what's it called, Nightbreed movies. I don't know if you ever seen Nightbreed.
I think I've seen it on Sci-Fi. I know because like Sci-Fi just did the PG-13 version,
and then he did that Midnight Meat Train. Have you seen that one?
That one, no, I have not seen.
Oh, it's good. It's got Vinnie Jones. He played the Juggernaut in the X-Men 3.
The one who's on the Juggernaut,
no, bitch. Yeah, he's been like a lot of movies, but that's
the soccer hooligan.
Yeah, that's the guy. Him.
Hero Trip. If you ever want to see him, Hero Trip, soccer hooligan. He's fucking funny.
Yeah, and so he. What were we talking about?
Clive Barker.
I mean, he plays the main guy in Midnight Meat Train. Basically, he's this guy that rides the train and he kills people. And what's his name? The guy that plays what's his name? There's the voice of Rocket. What's his name?
Oh, Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. He plays like a photographer that.
Whoa! Bradley Cooper's in this movie?
Yeah, he plays a photographer and he's trying to catch this guy in the action because he knows there's something wrong with them. And I don't want to spoil the ending for you, but it's got like the whole ending like is a whole twist where you don't even see it coming. If you haven't seen it, like you need to watch it. It's pretty good. It's gruesome.
But wait, is this his first horror movie? Because I remember Bradley Cooper from that kind of movie. What was it, 39 Files?
I don't know if it's his first movie, but he's in the Midnight Meat Train.
Okay. Well, I mean, like because I remember Bradley Cooper doing a kind of like a kind of like not a psychological, but like a horror movie that involved a little girl and then an actress that she was doing a file case on a kid who's being abused, and then apparently she has like these supernatural powers or something. But anyways,
oh yeah, I know that one. It's called
File Case 39.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Case 39. That's it.
But yeah,
I didn't know he was in Meat Train.
Yeah, but yeah, like Clive Barker, he's I remember being a kid, like 5 years old, and I got a copy of the Books of Blood and stuff like that. And I would bring them to school, and the teachers were like, "You can't bring them to school anymore because a lot of the way he does his writing and he structures his stories is the way I do mine." And it's just like I never really noticed it. And then I was watching an interview and they're asking him about his writing and stuff, and a lot of stuff he was talking about and the way he thinks about stuff is the way I think about. So I kind of like was like, man, there's a reason why I was attracted to this guy, not just because he writes horror stories, and as a kid that's what I like. But yeah, he's real good imagery. Like I said, he did. Anyway, the movie kind of straight off topic, but Rawhead Rex. It takes place in like Ireland. There's this big ass rune stone, and it talks about a demon called and they like every millennia they can bring them back to life, and basically it's this big 9-foot phallus that's going around killing people and stuff, and it's kind of a schlocky movie, but in the best possible way. It just brings back memories when I was a kid watching it, and I was lucky enough to get a rare DVD copy. If you look at these online, these are like $250.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, they're very rare. This one I had to import from Europe. and it cost me like $50. But yeah, they're really expensive.
You know, I'm not gonna lie because I had to import the movies from the '90s. Guyver. I don't know if you ever seen that. Guyver 1 and 2. I had to import those from Japan.
Dude, I have those
to
on
come
DVD.
to America. Yeah, I did too. But I mean, like, I
the first one I've seen a lot. The second one, I think I've seen it once, but I like the first one a little bit more because. But
I like the second one because he's more dark in that one.
He's really dark.
Yeah. Next movie.
Last one is Full-Time Killer. A little shot of that. This one, it's got Andy Lau. He's been in several different movies, mostly foreign films. You probably don't recognize them, but basically it's about these two assassins. One's called O, the other one's called Talk. And they have this rivalry where, they're both like assassins. So, one guy, O on the bottom with the glasses, he gets all the desirable, high-paying jobs. Todd gets the more shittier end of the stick, but he's a little more colorful, and like a lot of these people that want somebody killed, they want it to be, quick and dirty and not, bring a lot of attention. Of course, he's comes out wearing like a, U.S. president's mask, and he's always quoting like movie references and stuff like that. And then there's a love triangle with that girl on there. I don't know if you can fucking see it, but and so they have this kind of rivalry because they both like the same girl, and she likes both of them for different reasons. She likes O because she's worked for him as a maid for several years, and then she likes Talk because he's more of a free spirit, and she wants to kind of let loose a little bit. And at the end, they have this big old fighting scene in a warehouse, which is pretty cool. It's a real testament of like the Asian action movies. I mean, when you watch it, you just get that sense of Asian action because it's real over the top, and there's a lot of like stylistic, almost Quentin Tarantino like gunplay and stuff like that. And it's a pretty good story. I've seen this movie I don't know how many thousands of times, and it's a real good one. So Full-Time Killer. If you ever this one I also had to import because it's not, there's no American version of it, but if you get the opportunity to buy it or to see it, I highly recommend. I give it 2 thumbs up and 1 wiener up.
You got a hard on.
Yeah.
I mean, I never seen these movies, especially the one with Clive Barker, because, like I said, I do remember him from the black metal band Cradle of Filth, because he always lent his voice to them, and I knew him from Hellraiser, of course, and then I remember seeing a documentary on him. I know I heard recently he quit Hellraiser, didn't he?
They wanted him to come up like on the, I guess they were doing a remake and they wanted him to be a part of it, and he was kind of like,
he said no, right?
Yeah. But Hellraiser, that's a great movie. Like,
I mean, if you watch the first ones, like how, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I tried looking for Candyman on Google Play, and it goes to 2, Goodbye to the Flesh. It doesn't go to the first one where it's all care.
I put in Candyman and I get Sammy Davis Jr. Hi, I'm the Candyman.
Fucking Sammy Davis Jr. But no. Like, Clive Barker, like, I'm not gonna lie, he's a really good horror actor, and like, I never read anything of his, but I mean, as you reference him, like, I can't help to pre-cum a bit.
Well, as far as my writing, he's probably one of the, because I mean, I was like a little kid when I got copies of the Books of Blood and the comic book series he did called Tapping the Vein. I wish I still had them to this day. I mean, this is like in the 86, so this is like a good long while ago that I had these, and I might even my nostalgia is going to take over, and I'm probably going to go online and look for these and pay $100 for some copies of books I had when I was a kid. I have the Books of Blood, the novels and stuff, and that's just a collection of short stories, and also that guy said Tapping the Vein. Just a lot of his stories are just real real thought-provoking. They're real complex stories that they seem complex, but when you break down the actual elements of the story, they're actually pretty basic, but the way he presents them, it's I guess in a complex way. There's one story I remember. I don't remember the name of it. I remember reading it when I was a kid. I even did a book report on it. That is this guy. He falls down this hole, and he's falling and falling and falling, and like he gets like he's literally falling for years, and he like gets his shit, and he makes like a fucking I don't know, like starts making his shit into like a big pile. I don't know. It's like and there's like Weave World where this guy raises pigeons in his house, and they fly off, and he goes off to find them, and then that's how the adventure begins and stuff. So
would these be like 80s B movies?
Well, they're not. They didn't really make a lot of them into movies. Hellraiser was based on a short story, and then kind of like Rawhead Rex also was based on a short story and stuff. So a lot of his stuff is actually books, like in book form.
Okay.
So it's a lot of stuff I read as a kid. And they were just different, because at the time when I was a kid, kids were reading Charlotte's Web and, fucking...
Ask Alice.
Yeah, and then later on, like in the 90s, they started doing the whole Goosebumps and shit like that. And I was like, really? Goosebumps? I'm like, you should read this. This will fucking give me nightmares.
What they say about R.L. Stein is like the Stephen King of kids. Yeah, Stephen King for kids.
Stephen King, R.L. Stein can shampoo my crotch.
Ooh.
Take that.
Yeah, I'm about to have a war, y'all.
But yeah, I guess it's just like, reading Clive Barker stuff when I was like a kid, and then reading R.L. Stein, it's like comparing I don't know, like I don't know how to put it. It's like
today, Junior.
Well, it's like comparing like something like really like hardcore, against like something off of Sesame Street. You know what I mean? It's like, or a Quentin Tarantino movie to Sesame Street. That's how I consider it, because it's like it's real. Like a lot of the imagery is just like in your face, like crazy shit. You know what I mean? And then you read like R.L. Stein, and it's like watching Sesame Street in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like there's no comparison. It is.
I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of like a good analogy about it.
Yeah, because people say, "Hey, read this." It's so scary, and it's like R.L. Stein, the werewolf of Wolfington Street. And it's like, I'm like, I just read.
There's a couple of good ones though.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never read any of them, but like, I'm like going from that to, guys, like in Hellraiser, like I forgot what the original movie was, like the something Heart, whatever is the name of the short story that they ended up adapting into Hellraiser. But it has all the elements of the crazy uncle that dies, and then he's resurrected, in the floorboards and stuff. Like they did a good job in the movie of recreating that. Uncle Frank, where his essence is still there, and then when the blood hits the wood floor, it goes in and seeps in, and then the more like he gets that taste of blood, he starts kind of being resurrected. Honestly, like if you compare that to like a lot of the books they had, like it's apples and oranges. It's but that's just my nostalgia.
What about you? And like what is your ideal of like Hellraiser?
I liked it. I liked the first one. I thought the special effects were really good. Whenever Frank's getting resurrected, that whole like fucking like melting shit. I think they did that whole scene backwards, right?
Yeah, they make a they're like a fake dummy, then they melt it off, and then they do it in reverse, and it looks like the skin's coming back. And
I like the little meat hooks pulling him apart.
Like I think at first he's like kind of like still sane. And then, like, he like, goes on to, like, how you were saying, he gets a taste of blood. And he has, like, he even has, like, his lady, like, bringing, like, men. Like, pretending like she's, like, a hooker or whatever.
And she gets him with the hammer and...
Yeah. Just so to feed him to Frank.
It's me. It's Frank.
And then even at the end, when he's getting ripped apart by those...
Pop quiz, what is his last words before he gets blown apart?
See, I'm gonna fail this because I haven't seen it.
It's on the tip of my tongue, but I know what you're talking about.
He's all, Jesus wept.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah. Actually, that kind of sounds like a little bit fun though, like to do in real life.
And as he licks his lips.
Yeah. And then at the end they have that little totem pole that has like the dead parts on it and stuff like that. And what is your pleasure, sir?
The Cenobites. The Cenobites are like the freakiest part of it.
Yeah, and it's funny they're only in the last like 10 minutes of the movie, but yet they're the ones that take. You know what I mean? Like they're the centerpiece of the whole movie, but yet they're only in the last 10 minutes of it. You know, for like maybe 15 minutes tops, if that. You know, and then.
I remember the toys were a little too gruesome.
I have them, the Tortured Souls ones.
Yeah.
And I have a deluxe size pinhead in storage. I don't know. I've been thinking about opening like an online store and selling all my shit. But I don't know.
Okay, Kevin Smith. Maybe sell your stuff. No, but I think once we get like a better and bigger space for all of us, I think we can probably incorporate those in there. Basically,
I've lived a life of horror. My whole life.
And people, you can only get him for $20 because he's a whore.
Yeah, people say, "Oh, I decorate every year for Halloween." I'm like, look at my walls. Every day is Halloween. So I don't know. One last thing we want to get into this last segment of the show is we're going to talk about some actors that have died. There's been so many. Andrew, you want to start it off?
Well, I know one of the most notable actors that I know died because I saw something on YouTube, and hey, YouTube, give us money, please. We're poor.
I'm not.
Give us $1.
Well, yeah, him. No, because he knows how to save his money. I don't know how to save shit.
Give us $1. We'll mention your name on our show. Give us $5. We'll start showing you stuff.
But no, there's an actress. I forgot her name. But she was in Total Recall. She was the midget. Well, I don't know if you can call her a midget.
Little person.
Little person.
We don't want to get. We don't want to get a whole here knock on the door. It's all the fucking lollipop girls ready with their
Okay, no. Well,
Hey,
she was a little person. So she was in Total Recall. She actually passed away, I think, at the age of I want to say 39. But also, what nobody knows about her is that she was also one of the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi. And she also did there was a show, an Ewok show, I think, like a real life Ewok. She also did that, and she also has done like stunt work for like little kids in movies. I think one of them might have been Bride of Chucky. She played Tiff. Actually, she's the one who went running around. But yeah,
in Total Recall, I just remember the chick with the 3 knockers. I mean, the 3 tits. That's
3 tits.
I think I wore out the rewind and pause button on the fucking VCR when that movie came out. I was all.
He was looking for something to suck.
I was all 3 tits.
But no,
there's something magical about that.
I know she died, and of course, Arlie.
Arlie Ermey. We're not sure if we're saying that right. The sergeant or the colonel from Full Metal Jacket. All right, you dipshits and pussies, I want y'all to do some fucking push-ups now, you little pansy faggot bastard, you know, whatever. And
where he's all like, where are you from, boy? Texas. Well, all I know that comes out of Texas is steers and queers.
Which one?
And you don't have no antlers, so you must be a queer.
Yeah, he was a great guy. I loved him in the remakes of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He just played he plays that dirty, foul-mouthed villain to a T. He will be missed. Eddie, you got anybody you want to reference?
Not actors, but George Romero passed away recently.
Oh, yeah, George Romero, rest in peace.
You took it right out of my mouth. I was going to bring up. As you can see, I have autographed posters right there. Stay Scared, George Romero. I have another one back there. Original Day. You can't see it right here, but it's original Day of the Dead poster.
Like 2-3 months or something like that?
It's been a while. I think it was earlier this year. But, yeah, that was a big... I remember when I got to meet him, if you don't mind me telling the story.
Yeah, go for it, man.
He was doing autograph signing out in this open field, and they had a big-ass screen out in the field where they're airing his movies. And we got in line, and I looked at him, and he's like, how you doing, young man? You know, and I was like, I looked him straight in the eye, and the first words out of my mouth were, this is like that scene in Star Wars. And he's like, well, how so? I was like, the student meets the master, and he just thought that was the fucking coolest line. He was like, oh my God. And his guys, his entourage or whatever were there. And so we got talking. Of course, I know everything there is to know about George Romero. I know everything there is to know about his movies. So, you know, I was just like a kid, I mean, I'm meeting my idol, so I mean, I was just talking his ear off, and then so we were about to leave, and he's like, and so we just kind of he kind of said it was cool if we stood off to the side next to him, and I was just in awe. I didn't want to leave him, it kind of sounds kind of gay, but and then like people started coming up, and they were like, I can't remember what movie or what sign, whatever. And I was all like, oh, that was in Knight Riders. I was like 24 minutes in when the guy walks in here, the other guy comes on whatever. And I was like a human fucking Google, because even like his guys were like, is that right? I'm like, yeah, it's right. 1979, whatever. I was naming all this kind of stuff. Oh, no, this actually, whatever. And then George Romero was like, that's exactly right. How did you know? Like, I'm like, I know my shit, trust me. So he kind of kept me around as like a fact checker while everybody was going through, and then
your personal fact checker.
And it was before the movie Land of the Dead came out. It was still like it was like, oh, coming soon, in a couple months to be actually they were calling it Dead Reckoning back there, and that was gonna be. And they had shirts, which I wish I would have bought one, but I spent all my money on other stuff. There at the thing.
Is that the one where John Leguizamo comes out?
Yeah, and so they had shirts that said Dead Reckoning, and they were selling stuff that said Dead Reckoning. But I was like, well, when the movie comes out, me being the George Romero, I was like, this shit's gonna be huge, and there's gonna be shit everywhere. I was like, I'll just get one another, whatever. Well, they ended up changing the movie title to Land of the Dead instead of Dead Reckoning, and they named that big old war machine that John Leguizamo steals in the movie. They called that Dead Reckoning as like an homage to the movie of the original title. And so I kind of kicked myself, wish I would have bought a t-shirt, and stuff. I mean, they still sell them, but I kind of wish I would have got one like there when I was actually talking to George Romero
and had it signed. Yeah. That would have been actually, this is probably worth a lot more money now.
Yeah.
He passed away. I mean, rest in peace, George Romero. Hopefully we want you to come back as a zombie to still teach us how to live.
Live and love.
I'd still spike him in the head and be like, sorry. Or I'd chain him up and put him in the basement or something. But.
Or like, what was it in The Walking Dead? The governor, how he has all the zombie heads.
And I don't know if you guys know what Betamax is, but it's the precursor to VHS.
Yeah.
I actually had a copy, a mint condition copy of Night of the Living Dead, the original one, on Betamax. And when I had him sign it, I actually gave it to my brother Joe, or Ziggy. He's because he didn't have anything to sign, get signed. So I was like, here, take this. And he got it autographed. And I told him, put your name on there. So he put to Joe. And when he saw it, he was like, oh my God. He goes, I've never seen one of these. And he like picked it up and he's like, hey, come here. He's like showing like 20 different guys. Hey, did you ever know this? And he was like, I've never seen this before in my life. And so he thought I was some kind of fucking wizard or conjurer. Cause he's like, where did you get this from? And I was like, I made up a story. I'm like, man, I had to search high and low and, I found, whatever and stuff. And he's like, really? And I made this whole story about how I found it, this and that, whatever. And I was like, no, I paid $1 for it at the flea market. He goes, wow. He goes, I have never seen one of these before. He goes, this is fucking, cool. And he was like showing everybody. And when I was there, he was tell people, hey, look, hey, show him the thing. And I was showing it to him. He's like, have you ever seen that? And he was like, I've never seen that. And I was like, holy shit. Like I stumped the master or whatever. And if you know George Romero, he would smoke like a chimney. And so he would sit there and smoke like 3 cigarettes while you're sitting there talking to him. And then and so I was like, hey man, can I bum a cigarette? And he goes, yeah. And I got it. And I was like, can you put GAR on Romero? So I have an autographed cigarette somewhere on here in a little case of his, it's got his DNA on it so I can clone him at some point.
Oh, you need a healthy ovum.
All I need is a healthy ovum. And
Big Bang Theory, I miss you. I love you.
But yeah, and then they at the end, after everything, you got to watch movies with the master, and they had they played like 8 of his movies on the screen and stuff, and it was badass. And but yeah, that was my.
I mean, I can't help to be jealous because he is an idol. And you know how that saying goes: if you meet your idols,
kill them. Wait, no.
No, if you meet your idols, you'll be disappointed. But like all the stories you hear, I'm like, oh, Eric Estrada did this and blah blah blah, But you met one of your idols and one of the greatest horror movie writers ever.
Did you say Eric Estrada?
Yeah.
Ponch from Chips.
Yeah. Anyways, but he's one of the greatest horror movie writers ever. He is the father of zombies.
Yeah, I always tell people, I was like, they wouldn't be modern zombies because he came up with the basic rules that if they bite you, you turn. If you get, scratched or whatever, you turn. that and in all of his movies, he's never explained why it's happening, and he said he never will. He wants the audience to kind of come up with their own ideas, which it kind of works because everybody has, you ask 1,000 people, what their theory is, you're going to get 1,000 different answers as to why it happened. Like he kind of leaves little hints in his movie, like the original Night of the Living Dead. They talk about, all these satellites coming in from space with high radiation. And so, back then in the 60s, we went to the moon and there was all that, Sputnik and like radiation, and there, we weren't familiar with space as we are now. And, and like, so that was kind of a little thing they threw in there, but he never really like confirmed, and there's all these different, is it this? It's a virus. It's, whatever. And so he left it open so you can kind of determine what you think is the cause of it. So, which,
Mm-hmm. I mean, he is, I wish I'm kind of like jealous of you. I wish I could have met him. But I mean, there's other ones, like one of my favorite writers and directors that I want to see and hopefully one day work with is Guillermo del Toro. I'm a big fucking fan of his. I love his movies. He's a very unique writer. He's a very unique director. Like how he makes you feel sympathy for the creature is just very touching. And and of course, between John and I, we're actually working on a story for a horror movie. And I don't know, John, you want to go into the premise of it?
Well, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's an idea I've had for a while called Clutter. I've made movie posters for it, and I have a lot of different ideas of where I want to go with it. But currently we're working on a script with that. I'm not going to get too much detail, but basically the premise, these people inherit this house, and it's a really huge, like 3-4 story, like, mansion house that's on the ocean side, and they get it. I have different versions of the story where they get it inherited, or they use their nest egg and they kind of buy it real cheap, and they're like, man, this is like a multi-million-dollar house, but we got it dirt cheap. We wonder why. And basically this old couple used to live there, and they used to adopt and foster kids. For the money, they would get money from the government for every kid they had, but they did it for the money, so they would lock the kids in the basement and closets, and so eventually the old couple dies, and the kids get kind of left in there, to fend for themselves, and so when these people, buy the house and they're kind of renovating it to open it up,
they kind of inherit the problem.
Yeah, and so
from there on, honestly, like we're still working on it, and I'm actually helping him write it because John is actually, I'm not gonna lie, inspired me to write it. Like I wanted to write something that is very unique and kind of different from what I normally write, which are kind of like emo pop stories or some fucking shit like that. But I mean, we don't really want to give out too much details because one, it is an idea, and of course, people nowadays, they like kind of just steal ideas and be like, oh no, I kind of woke up in the middle of the dream and I thought of it. No, like we don't want to give too much away. Like we're still working on it, and hopefully, one day we do kind of make a little video about it or like a little teaser trailer, and just like kind of put it out there and see what we do because, like you said it, nowadays you can do like movies from your fucking phone. Or like from a fucking video camera as well.
Yeah.
But as John kind of inspired me up to help him write this, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like volunteered for him. Like I don't care about the money. I mean, I just care about the experience of writing it, and just one day like being like, hey, I wrote that, and that fucker right there helped me write it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my whole thing is the same way I talked about George Romero a few minutes ago about how he inspired me as a kid, and even as an adult, I just want to be able to keep that going and have some kids be like, oh, remember that, Jonny Deth guy, or that, and Eddie Gein and Majin Drew, man, that whole team, man, they started doing this, and then, and like, inspire them to do something, you know what I mean? That's basically the whole thing. I'm trying to pay it forward and get, people to kind of be inspired, so they want to create their own stuff, you know what I mean, at some point, and be like, hey, well, if it wasn't for these guys doing a podcast or for doing this movie or, writing this book or whatever, whatever we end up doing in the future with, have that same, people say, oh, I remember when I met Jonny Deth one time, I was at Comic-Con and the whole crew was here and they were signing autographs and, like whatever, I bought him a drink and, or something, or I remember coming up with my kid and he, autographed my kid's shirt. My kid was 2 years old. He still has, things like that, you know what I mean? And be like, man, and ever since then I went home and I started doing this and it kind of got me into, whatever. And so that's kind of what we're trying to do, inspire people and just, leave that legacy behind so that, we inspire the next generation the same way we were inspired, when we were growing up. And it has nothing to do with money. I mean, if we were successful in some kind of way, that's kind of secondary. The main focus is to kind of get our art out there so people can, check it out. And, we want to share that with other people. Not just writing, I like to draw, I like to come up with, stuff, so, I like to do poetry as well. So, things like that, I want maybe somebody read a poem and be like, oh my God, like you captured, when my
teenage adolescence.
Yeah. Or like you captured that or like, my parents passed away or my, I lost a sibling or I was married to somebody and my wife died or my, and you wrote this poem and it just made so much fucking sense, and like, or something, or a movie or a story you did just reminds me of this, or
And as like Ed Gein here, that he is inspired to be a Viking with his beard.
No, I'm just trying to grow it out a little bit.
Me too.
I'm growing up. I mean, as we said it before, we all work together. We have jobs. We do this, but like this is on our free time. This is our downtime. This is
a labor of love.
Yeah, this is a labor of love. There is going to be like a model that I picked up from a YouTuber named Cody Oak. Sucking dick and fucking dick. That's what you got to kind of do. Is you really got to kiss the people's ass just to move around. But as in this little kind of art that we're doing is basically we're just speaking our mind and like talking about this. That's why it is Deth-N-Vengeance. Deth-N-Vengeance is basically we are getting down to the death of who we are. And the vengeance is we want to voice our power. We want to show the world that you don't have to have an education. You don't have to go to school. You can come from the bottom of a barrio and just be who you are. I mean, Robert Rodriguez did it. Who else done it?
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams?
I don't know. I just I just know I do a really killer Robin Williams impression.
Of what?
Ready? All right, Robin Williams as the genie in Aladdin and Flubber and all the movies. Mrs. Doubtfire. Ready? Too soon.
Too soon. Too soon.
Hey. Okay. Honestly,
it's like just like your impression of that guy from Fast and Furious.
What's his name? Paul Walker.
Me and the bird.
Paul Walker. Yeah.
Well. If I had a lighter and a couple of twigs, I could make you a Paul Walker action figure.
What about Bowie?
At least we still got Bowie. At least we still got Bowie. We lost a lot of people. We lost George Michael, but we still got Bowie.
That's weird. Like, why George Michael? Well, I mean,
you know why? Because God was a big fan of George Michael's video "Faith."
Hey.
You gotta have faith. I remember when I was a kid, I was at my friend's house and we were trying to watch the fucking Guns N' Roses debut of "Sweet Child of Mine," the video on MTV. We were waiting for it. They were showing like other videos, and then all of a sudden they fucking came on George Michael's because we were waiting for it to come on, and they're like, pretty soon we're gonna, whatever. And that fucking song came out, so we're about to change it. And his mom's like, no, don't change it. I like this. So we're sitting there and watching George Michael's ass shake for about 3.5 minutes, however long the fucking video is, and we're scarred for life. Fucking shit.
Fucking Bowie.
I saw that video and I was like, I'm never gonna see again George Michael's ass in my brain.
Oh God!
I was all like,
when we saw Deadpool 2, what song did they cover and they brought back? Oh,
Take On Me?
Yeah, take on me.
Take on me.
But it was like the acoustic version,
something like that. I like the Deadpool rap at the end. That was kind of stupid but cool at the same time.
I kind of reminds me of the fucking Digimon rap.
Digimon.
It's a fucking old.
Oh, I know Digimon.
Yeah, the Digivolution is up and running. Oh, by the way,
that brings up some stuff we can talk about next time.
Yeah.
So that'll be on the next show. This is gonna be the ending because my ass is falling asleep because I'm sitting on a wooden chair. You can't see it, but
and I can't feel my nuts. So
well, they fell off, rolled under. Rolled under the couch. We'll help you get them in a second. Like, I get my dogs go there and paw them out for you. Actually, you know what? I have a piece of Velcro. I can just go there and get it attached to the nut hairs and pull it.
Definitely talk about more anime.
More anime.
Yeah.
We'll have more movie reviews. We'll have other stuff we're going to be talking next time. So, yeah, and hopefully we'll have the full panel like this. I want this to be a regular thing. So, like I said, but we do have day jobs, so it's kind of like trying to schedule our shows around when we're all off or we're all available. So, that's the rub of our situation.
I think we're gonna try to do this like once a week and see how we get a feel for it.
Yeah. So I mean, we want it to be all three, but I don't know. Maybe like it might just be one of us, two of us, or hopefully all three of us. You know what I mean?
Well, let's just hope that we can all stay healthy and not get sick.
Yeah.
Especially since it's like fall coming around, and then
I'm already getting sick.
Sick of being here.
But all right. Well, I'm Jonny Deth.
Is that a Gein?
And I'm Majin Drew.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you catch the next show. And from all of us here at Deth-N-Vengeance, have a great night.
Stay vengeful.
Turn off the